So here we are, and what I did was I took my inexpensive color copy, and I took and made a large color copy of one of the images that I was showcasing in these soft white neutrals. And color copy is nice because then I can scribble colors that I see. Now I know that I am seeing some soft grays, but I know that I'm seeing soft greens, and I know I'm seeing grayed down purples and stuff. And what I really want you to do is try to look for these colors. Don't say a cactus is green and those things are brown. Just look at this and go, what colors do I really see here? And get as close as you can. I mean, you're not going to have exactly that unless you're painting and mixing. So let's just look. If I said I had purple in there, wow. Wow, I do have purple. And if I'm just going to show you, what if you said, well, that's brown, because I think it's brown. Over here, it's brown, but right here, it's closer to purple. So I'm going to select purple. If you want to put the brown in there, you can. But I'm trying to get you to push. Okay. Now, let's look at this. I know that I have a nice soft gray in there. It's almost like an ivory. Okay? I'm just going to put these out in colored pencils because I am going to be working with pastels, but I've got that on my palette already, that on my palette. Okay, so I'm going to be using that. And then I see that, okay? I see that, right by that, okay? And now I'm going to go for this lighter purple that I'm seeing in here. That is a lighter purple that I'm seeing right there. Well, I'm going to show you right here. Right here. Right here. That is a lighter purple. So that gives me that opportunity to use that. And the ivory. Now let's talk about this soft gray-green in here. These are warmer greens. There's a cooler one here, and there's a cooler one. Warmer meaning they have more yellow in them. Cooler meaning they have more blue in them. So let's pull out our blue greens that have our blue or greens in them. And you know I can't get perfectly close because I can't get exactly because I'm not mixing paints. I'm using my colored pencils, and I'm going to try to pick one that I feel is closest. I think my color that's closest in here is this soft color next to the ivory. All right? And then look at this color right in here. Whoops. That's a nice blue. Wow. And then I do see white. And I have picked a really nice color palette. I just want to play a little bit with my brown because the brown, I'm just not convinced brown. This color, those two together come closer than this other color. But I did have it up in there. I did have it up in here. So I can keep that out. So, and I will keep a gray colored pencil out, but I'm not really convinced of that. So that is what I'm going to, this is my color palette. And I'm hoping you see what I see, that this is, I bring in the pastel, that this is what I'm seeing here. Okay? It's as close enough as I can get. So next I'm going to go in and do the Shrinkets bead with it. So here I am, and I'm just going to put a little of this around the center. You'll be able to see it right here. Not sure which one I should use. And then I can use any of these colors that I want. I'm going to take my darker colors and just use these as accents because I want a light bead. I want this bead to have this light feel with dark accents that my mind's, just like in nature, this has these little dark accents and then this overall light feel that feels like this to me. So I'm going to come in here with patterns. And I'm not doing this video to show you how to make a perfect bead or beautiful design on the bead. I'm showing you how to use these colors. And these, like this blue, was very limited on this, so that's how I'm using it, very limited. And the white was really dominant, so I'm coming in here with a really dominant feel with my white. And then I really liked how the green was on here. And this whole exercise is to get you to think outside the normal colors that you go for all the time, your favorite colors, or to get you away from saying that's a color I would never use. You're missing out on a great opportunity when you close yourself off to those are not colors I would ever use. Nature never says those are not colors I would ever use. And nature is the greatest artist. So I decided to put little lines out here because I'm aware that this is a little cactus. And I think it is. So this is my little bead, and now I'm going to shrink it down so you can see how this color turned out. And this is how our little bead turned out. And it just really has that fun feel of that piece. And it may be colors that you never thought about using. And then you always get the surprise of when you do shrink it down, the color's going to change and alter. But it puts you out of your comfort zone and it makes you think differently about things. So I'm going to showcase one more. And this one here is a seashell. And it is really faded by the sun. So I know I have, I thought I had gray in here. Not sure it's that shade of gray, once again, coming in. So I can always put some gray in there if I want. But to me, what I'm seeing is a lot of ivory, a lot of purple, a lot of, like I said, I can't get perfect, but I'm seeing the blue-gray, and I'm seeing some blue. I mean, I wish I had a gray or blue, but I don't. I'm just looking to get it as gray, the grayest blue I can. Probably that one over this one. And then I have the purple. This nice purple in there. So really, really wonderful neutrals here. And I probably will just do a little bit of the gray or come in with a little bit of an ivory pastel. So I have a nice pale yellow pastel, and if you want to make your pastel a little grayer yellow, you can blend it with these colors. All right, so coming in here and putting this in the center. Realizing I want that really warm yellow. All right. And blend that in. And then I'm coming in with these colors and making sure they are in the piece. Don't know if you can see, so I'm going to switch over to a white background. Doing this beautiful color that's called smoke blue. And this is Holbein. So I'm sure that you'll be able to find a colored pencil that's close to the colors you are using. So this is another gorgeous color in here, and this one's called Cork. But this one here called Ash Rose or Rose Color is also seen very well in here. So any of these colors that I choose to use would be great. I think I'm going to use the rose. Because I think that's a little more common a color for you to find if you're kind of going with me and you don't have the Holbeins. The Holbein pencils do have a very large array of colors, and I especially like their pastel set. But obviously I'm going to be using some of the darker colors in it, but they are very, very pricey, and I think that Prismacolors are very good to start out with, or just to have the basic. They're extremely high quality colored pencil too. So the closest I could come to the blue in here, I felt, was this lavender blue. So I'm coming in with little dots on this. Whoops. And you can mimic these colors in your fancier markers also. Not so much your Sharpies. Your Sharpies does not have such an array of choices. Your Copic, your Spectrum Noir, those markers will have a much wider range of colors. They're what I call art markers. And even though you might think you're seeing brown here, we're really seeing purple. And when you make a color copy of it, that's when that becomes more apparent. Because when you actually lay brown next to it versus purple, you'll go, well, the purple's closer. And that teaches you what goes on in shading. So here's my piece. And now I'm going to shrink it. So here's our little piece here, and it's just delightful. It's a little little influenced piece, influenced by our color palette that we were doing. And here was our other piece, and that's an exercise, and I hope you've enjoyed this, of another way of picking out a color palette versus working with the color wheel and trying to understand the color wheel and using complements and hues and values and all of that. You can just go to nature here, print a color copy, and do the best to lay out some colored pencils or inks and stamps that pastels that go with what you're doing, or your markers. So it's just another way to enjoy nature. Thanks. One point I do want to make is when you are photographing your pieces, get really close, because you want to have less distraction.